You've left before. Actually, you've left quite a bit. And every time, it wasn't a promise that pulled you back. It was one good moment that felt like everything was going to be okay again. So you stayed. You went back. You felt like things would change. And afterwards, you couldn't fully explain why you did it. Today, we're going to talk about trauma bonding, why it's so hard for you to leave a person that's hurt you, and what you can do about it. Trauma bonding is a psychological attachment to someone who has hurt you, built through cycles of harm and followed by unpredictable cycles of affection. And here's the part that most people miss. The biggest hit of relief doesn't come from the good moments. It comes from the drop in fear right after a bad moment has ended. So the bond isn't really to the person, it's to the relief cycle that your nervous system has wired itself to chase. This is the same wiring that comes from playing a slot machine. Not the wins, but not knowing when the next win is coming. In psychology, this is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's one of the most addictive reward patterns out there. Way more addictive than the rewards you can count on. Because your brain, it never gets to settle into a pattern. You just keep pulling the lever, hoping this time it'll pay off. Swap the machine with a person, and the chase can feel like love. But it isn't. It's the same loop, but it's wearing a different face. And it moves the same exact way every time. Closeness, harm, repair. That's the cycle. Over and over and over again until you can't tell where one ends and the other one begins. And there's another pattern that can often get confused with trauma bonding. Anxious attachment. A relationship style shaped by inconsistent care in your early life, where you fear losing someone even when they've never actually hurt you. And it runs on the same alarm system that trauma bonding does. The one to help keep a child safe from losing a caregiver. That system doesn't check whether the threat is real. It only checks whether someone might leave. Online, these two often get treated as the same thing, but they're not. They're way different. Trauma bonding needs an actual cycle of harm. Anxious attachment does not. You can have anxious attachment with someone who is perfectly safe. You can only have a trauma bond with someone who is actually hurting you. And here is the part that matters. Naming them incorrectly is the reason a lot of people get stuck. Think you're anxious? You may stay in a dangerous relationship. Think you're trauma bonded? And you may walk away from someone who is never the problem. Now, let's see what this looks like in the real world. Example number one, let's think of someone who's left before, more than once. Each time, it wasn't a fight that brought them back. It was one moment, one day, where the relationship felt like it had never felt before. Right at the point when you had almost convinced yourself that you needed to stay gone forever. You're not weak, you're not choosing chaos. Your body learned exactly when the relief was coming, and it started chasing that relief way harder than it feared the harm. That is a trauma bond. The good moments aren't proof that you're safe. They are the hook that keeps bringing you back. Now, for example number two, let's think about someone whose partner is safe, kind, loving, everything you'd want in a partner. But still, the slow reply, the quiet night, and something in you spirals. You're checking your phone, you're replaying the last conversation in your mind to make sure there's nothing up, not because anything's really wrong, but because somewhere in your early life, I don't know if they're coming back used to mean something threatening. But your body never got the memo. This is the one that stays. That's not a trauma bond. That's anxious attachment. And that one has a completely different solution. Now, how do you fix it? First is to recognize that these patterns don't get fixed in the same way. Furthermore, you don't have to do all three of these steps because they may not fit your needs. Just start with the one that matches your situation. Step one, cut the cycle. If what you're carrying in your life is a trauma bond, the first move isn't a conversation. The first move is to distance yourself. This means no contact. Block them altogether. And the problem? Many abusers don't let go quietly. They'll reach back out right when you're the closest to leaving for good. Remember that person from example one? Going back on a good day? This is the exact behavior that this step is meant to interrupt. This week, I want you to go through and write down what happened. No, I mean actually what happened. We want dates, times, locations, and be specific. And don't tell me about all the good moments that you had in your relationship. I want you to sit down and write all the bad ones that you had in your relationship and explain the cost of all of those issues. Then, the next time your brain starts romanticizing getting back with this person, sit down and read it aloud. Remind yourself why you left this person. Step two, Regulate before reason. You can't think yourself through a trauma bond. You have to regulate your nervous system out of it. This means grounding, breath work, and working with a therapist who is trained in trauma-focused CBT, EMDR, or somatic work. Why is this important? Because you need to be able to work with your body, not your logic. Right now, your nervous system is the one making all the decisions, not you. So doing somatic work puts some of the load back on the body and takes it off of the nervous system. This week, find a trauma-informed therapist. Book your first session and go in and describe out loud exactly what the cycle looks like in your life. Step 3, build the safety that you never got to practice. Remember the person from example 2, spiraling out of control over a slow response? If what you're carrying is anxious attachment, the work will look different. Before you reach for your phone for reassurance or for proof, pause. Sit in the not knowing for about 30 seconds. Ride the wave of emotion. Do you feel it? That's the system that you've built to help you avoid fear. It's time you learn how to tolerate it without needing someone else to take it from you. This week, the next time you have an urge to check a text or ask if everything is okay, wait 30 seconds before you act on it. Just 30, then decide. Today's key takeaway is this: neither of these is something that you choose, but it doesn't mean there's not something here that you need to work through. One is your body protecting it from real harm. The other is your body bracing for harm that's already happened a long time ago. Either way, it came from somewhere else, and that's worth taking seriously, not just brushing it off. Name which one you're carrying. This is really the first step of working through it. If this video was able to give you language for something you've been feeling but unable to explain, please drop a comment in the section below and let me know. Which one of these do you recognize in yourself? The trauma bond? The anxious attachment? Maybe it's a little bit of both. Also, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. You guys have a great day.